ETF Inspector. It's Friday, May 16th. Payday, usually for most people's work, and payday for us if you're holding ULTY, along with any of the other weeklies or Group A funds. This video is going to be specific to ULTY, YieldMax's Ultra Option Income Strategy ETF. So we will go over the trades and holdings. I was thinking about adding in the after hours stuff, but not on this one. So hope you're comfortable. Get something to drink. Maybe put this on 1.5 speed, because today's the day where they have to make all the trades, close everything out, and move it to next week or further. So it'll take a little bit of time, but we'll get through it. All right, just to give you an idea of how many trades ULTY made today. They just keep going. Still. All right, you get the idea. So we will start out talking about the trades. All right, we've hidden all the trades we've talked about up till now. So let's just get into it. All right. Before we talk about any options, they added to their new position in CoreWeave another 40,000. That says contracts, but for this instance, it's shares. They picked them up at $82.66 per share, spending $3.3 million, and they came up with some of that with, well, I don't know if they specifically did it for that reason, but they came up with the money for it, selling some of their position in HIMS. They didn't get out completely. 75,000 shares, where they had 275,000. So, all right. We don't count that against our options income, right? Just opening and closing regular positions. So in this fund, they specifically buy the stocks, and then they sell the amount of calls that go along with that. And then they also buy puts to protect the shares. Every once in a while, they'll do like a put spread or a call spread too. But in general, that's considered a collar when you sell calls and buy puts. So ASTS, for the most part, we're going to be doing the same thing every stock. Closing out the weeklies for May 16th, opening up the new weeklies for May 23rd. Don't need to talk too much about the puts because they're really just insurance policies. So the calls, we closed out 26 and moved to 29.50 because those 26s kind of went against us. Overall loss of 198,000 for those. CAVA closed out, moved to next week, went from 108 down to 100. Obviously, that was a winning trade if we got to close out the calls. We sold them last week or earlier this week maybe, and closed them out for 3 cents. So big win. Open up the new ones, $1.44 per share with 900 contracts, and each contract being worth 100 shares. So that was a win of 138,000 trading on CAVA. Coin closed out this week, moved to next week, changed our price from $250. That sounded funny. $252.50 to $280. Obviously, that's a loser. We had to pay almost more than $500,000 to close it out, picking up $230 on the new one. So that's a loss of $321,000, all said and done. CoreWeave moved the ones from this week at 75. 1,200 contracts up to 88. I believe this stock had an absolute crazy day today. And then also, since we picked up, 40,000 more shares, then we had more shares to set up another position. So they did another one at 90 and then bought the puts to go along with them. Overall, it cost $368,000 to roll those positions. That's called rolling too, right? When you don't just let them expire, you don't just close them out. When you buy them to close and then sell short, that's what the SS is, to open. And that leaves you with a negative position when you sell short. That's why you have to buy to close it on the back end. All right, Carvana went from 300 this week to 302.50 next week. Looks like it was a win. Got a lot of money for that one, so it's probably pretty close to the money. So we'll be sweating that one all week. $104,000 in profit. First Solar closed out the 195s for 12 cents and opened 195s for next week. So we're sticking with the same spot. 132,000 profit overall on those trades. Hims and Hers. This was another one. They sold a little bit of it, right? They have 200,000 shares left, but so they closed out their 2,000 positions at 57 and 750 at 69. And what do we say? 75,000. So they don't have to reopen that 750. They just reopened 2,000 contracts at 67. Overall loss of $648,000. Hood rolled the next week, went from 63 to 62. Looks like it obviously a win. 303,000 in profit on the roll. IonQ closed their 35s for this week, sold 35.50s for next week. $247,000. Make it just a little bit bigger. All right, Mara closed their 17.50s for this week, opened the same strike price next week. Obviously, closed them out for 2 cents. That's a big win. Not getting a ton of premium, though, 26 cents. So overall, $125,000 in profit. MSTR closed their 430s and 435s, opened 405s and 400s for next week. Overall, netted $319,000 to the good. NVIDIA closed their 132s for 358. That's going to be a loss, maybe a break even at best. Opened up 144s for next week, 325, losing $92,000 on the trades today. Oklo closed their 35. Oh, I'm sorry. This was actually, they rolled it 2 weeks. So it seems like they were trying to get as close to breaking even as they could. So it took a 2-week roll. So they're going to need NVIDIA to calm down with 2 weeks to go on that one. Oklo rolled from this week to next week, closing their 35s, opening 42.50s. Again, that's a loss, having to pay $4.70 per share on 2,999 contracts. That's odd. We'll have to look at the holdings numbers, but almost $1 million loss on those trades. Palantir closing the 125 and 134, opening 129s and 133s. Went a little higher on their low one and went a little lower on their high one. Just about broke even. $38,000 to the good. Rigetti, sounds like spaghetti, closed out their 1150s, opened up 13s. Again, close to breaking even. Lost $28,000. SMCI closed their $49 strike on the calls for this week, opened 50s for next week. That was a win. 5 cents to close them out, $1.14 to open them. $124,000 added. TNA, these two are the triple leveraged funds. Closed the 30 for $1.04. Opened a 31 for 82 cents. Overall loss of, and apparently the buying that put was fairly expensive compared there. So lost $200,000 on those trades. TQQQ closed out their 71s for 39 cents. Opened up 72s for next week for 245. Most likely a win on those, but I think they actually had to change them in the middle of the week. I think they took a loss in the middle of the week and upped that number. So overall, this was a rough week to be selling covered calls because these stocks went through the roof. But as far as today is concerned, up 208,000 on the roll. Did I accidentally skip from one to the other? Oh, maybe not. All right, Tesla Closed out their 360s for 21 cents. That's a win. Opened up 360s for next week at $7.30 a share. That's beautiful. $288,000 profit on the roll. Upstart closing their 51s, opening 48s. Closed them for 3 cents. Big win. $234,000 positive. Vertiv closed their 110s for this week, opened 105s for next week. Again, another win, 3 cents to close, $297 to open, $152,000 added. Vista Corp closed their 160s for this week for 14 cents, another win. Opened 157.50s next week for $4.55 a share, $222,000 added. So when we total all those up, and you're getting to see how the stocks did. Did I do this backwards? No. So I did. I think I put these in the wrong. I need to switch these. Okay. This one, even though it says share value, I put it in the wrong box. This is the sum of all these trades. So overall, lost $214,000 on all rolls for the day. Not terrible, but obviously not what we're looking for. I'll switch these once we switch over. But now you've seen the good news. Jumped ahead of myself because I knew we had a lot to talk about here. So pretty green day. If you looked at the thumbnail before we got started, I think there was only 3 or 4 stocks within the fund that were red at all. Kava, First Solar, Reddit, and RH. All the rest were green, with some blowing right through everything. 22% up on the day. That's crazy. 9% for Coin, 10% for Hims and Hers. Those are the biggest ones to talk about. All right, so AI, this is a new one for us. Closed at 24.16, up 3.2%, gain in market value of $255,000. We're not going to spend a lot of time on these in or out of the money for the options holdings the way the day started, because we just watched that we swapped them all over to next week. Okay, so maybe that'll speed this portion up. And again, if you're new here, this is yesterday's close or today's open. This is today's close, so none of this stuff can get updated, or else it would throw off all the calculations, because we need to compare today's close to yesterday's close to get our percent change and to get our change in market value. After the video is over, then all these get updated. So generally, if you're here for the first time, we do, if the position, the call that we've sold is in the money, that's bad because it's going to cost money to close it out. So that'd be red. If it's close, less than 5% out of the money, it's yellow. And if it's more than 5% out of the money, we highlight it green, just so we get a visual of how things look. We don't color code the puts because we bought the puts. They're not something that are going to cost us money to close out. They're just an insurance policy. And if we get to sell them at the end to make a little bit of money, that's great. So ASTS up 1.6% to $26.66, a gain of $136,000 in market value. Webull up just about 1% to $12.41, gain of $48,000. Kava Group down 2.27% to $96.81, loss of $200,000. Coinbase up 9%, $266.46, a gain of over $1 million in market value. Again, none of these gains or losses are official. The term would be realized because they didn't actually sell or buy. This is just the value increase or decrease based on the stock price move. CoreWeave up 22% to $80.30. We just got into this one like a day or two ago, and it's already gone up in value by $1.7 million. Carvana up 0.84% to just under $362,000 increase in value. First Solar lost 4.15% to $178.46, a loss of $347,000. Hims and Hers up over 10% to 64.65, increase in value of nearly $1.7 million. Sorry, I need a drink. Robinhood went up 1.78% to 61.76, increase in value of $234,000. IonQ up 7.53%. I've got a call sold against these guys for like $31. I'll just have to keep rolling until I get assigned. So $34.99, a gain of almost $800,000 in value. Mara Holdings 3.38% increase to 1621, an increase of $331,000. MicroStrategy up 0.7% to $399.80, $100,000 gain in value. Nvidia up 0.42% to $135.40, increase of $58,000. Oklo up 0.83% to $37.72, $93,000 in value added. Palantir up 1.09% to $129.52, $184,000 of value added. Reddit lost 0.32% or $36,000, with the stock going down to $113.23. Rigetti up 2.69% to $11.85, $108,000 in additional value. We're getting there. RH down 3.7% to $210.02, loss of $165,000. SMCI almost 5% increase to $46.15, $295,000 value increase. Snowflake barely moved, 0.06%, $183.08, just under $5,000 in value. TNA, our triple leveraged daily small cap bull, up 2.41% to $31.44, $277,000 value increase. TQQQ, the ProShares triple leveraged Ultra Pro QQQ, up 1.23% to $71.45, $213,000 value added. Tesla up over 2% to $349.98, $329,000. Upstart 1.46% to $48.08, $152,000 added. I just realized this whole time. I'm sorry, guys. Vertiv up 0.63% to $106.04, $47,000 in value increase, and Vistra Corp an even 3% increase to $156.62, $319,000 in value added. This all totals up to $7.4 million in increase in value. So the net assets were at $292, roughly a $7.5 million increase. But again, every single one of these values of the options within these changed throughout the day too. So that's why we can't just add this 7 million to that 292 and know our new number. ULTY itself closed at 629. I mean, that's beautiful. I think we started the week around 6, maybe 610. We picked up a 10-cent dividend and we're up. So the stock actually had to drop 10 cents to give us that 10-cent dividend, and yet we still are up nearly 630. There was an additional 800,000 added to the outstanding shares, so now we're up to 47,400,000. This NAV is not correct, as you see, because this is the old net asset value, or this is the old net assets, right? So this number will change up by roughly 7.5 million, which will bring this probably within a couple pennies. And I put this up yesterday. I didn't check it today. I don't think our 30-day value changed that much in one day. Whew, we went over a lot. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. Like I said, these two are swapped. On Sunday, I'll make a video going over with the updated holdings. So with all the new options in place, how far out of the money they are, everything like that, as like a week look ahead. So we're prepared to go into next week's trades. And on that day, I will add in all the trades that I made from this past week, because this video is too long to then go through my trades as well. So let's get to the dad joke. And right before I do, I just want to thank everybody for watching. If you like it, great. Hit the like button. If you don't, I've been seeing, a couple of dislikes that, I just want to hear why. So tell me what you didn't like about it. And if it's something I can change, then I will. But if you liked it, please like, share, subscribe. I appreciate it. And so the dad joke. Fun fact, sugar is the only word in the English language where SU makes a sh sound. At least I'm pretty sure that's correct. Okay. Thank you. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Mine kind of got ruined because my daughter's soccer tournament got canceled for rain, but I guess we get to relax. All right. Good night.